से ही बनाया हुआ है।
तो इस पर डिजाइन बहुत सारा है, डिजाइन जो देखना है देख लीजिए। फूल वाला।
हाँ हाँ, यही वाला।
अरे तो ये फूल वाला कैसा लगेगा, घर में थोड़े लगाते हैं।
उस शीशा पर था, ऐसा ही दिख रहा है, वाइट कलर।
इसमें अलग अलग साइज आप चूज कर
हाँ
सकते हो।
हाँ।
12 बाई 25 इंच का एक तो हो गया 108 रुपया। उस हिसाब से मंगाना पड़ेगा, चिपकाने वाले को बुलाना पड़ेगा। चिपका लीजिए, जब ये लिया जाएगा तो वो आएगा नहीं।
Hello, all. Very good evening.
Hi Vishnu, good evening.
Hi, Vishnu. Good evening.
Good evening, Vishnu.
Yeah, we will wait for 2 more minutes and then we will start. So, how many of you found yesterday's topics like in the scale of 1 to 10? A person who understood fully is 10, okay, and who understood nothing is 1. So, if anyone is below 5, can they raise your hand? Like, just raise your hands. Like, whatever I took yesterday, like some topics which you couldn't understand, like it's below 5, you felt. Anyone like that? Okay. What about somewhere around 7 to 8? Okay, I can see 1, 3. Okay. 5. What about others? Very busy day. So, okay. Okay, right. So, yeah, I pretty much see what basically we are going through is now we are going through each topic like I can say not like an overview, but in more sort of like a fundamental way, right? We will go in depth, okay? And all these topic, whichever we are seeing in the fundamental way, right? Like for example, the response time, throughput, or even the latency, and all those concepts, we will be actually revisiting many times because those are the fundamental topics of performance testing, right? You will never leave those behind. It will be always there behind you in whatever thing we do or wherever we like whatever executions we do. These words, these things will keep coming. Okay, so once this whole course finishes, or by this time, by let's say if we finish the course, so you will be very efficient in all these things. Okay, so no need to worry that you are not able to or you didn't understand what's latency because this will come again and again. And uh, maximum in let's say 5 or 10 sessions next. Okay, you will become very efficient in what is response time, what is throughput, and all those stuff. Okay, so no, don't need to worry that some things I didn't understand. Because again, like for example, let's say when I go to CDN, okay, we'll understand what's a CDN or what's a load balancer. That time we will again see how these affect the caching, or how the caching will improve the response time by reducing the latency, right? So again, those words, right? Response time, latency, all these things will come in again and again. So, okay, right. So let's get started. If anyone has any question, they can ask now. Maybe I'll take
Vishnu,
two questions.
related to throughput, I have one question.
Yeah, Rohit. Please go.
Actually, number of transactions processed by the server is called the throughput. So that includes both either they are paused or failed, right?
No, those will be only asked ones. Very good question, Rohit, what you asked. Okay. Though we haven't reached at that point, that's why I didn't call it out. But that's a very good point you pointed out. We take only the past ones. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there is a reason behind it. See, when you say failed ones, actually for failed ones, your server is not doing any work, right?
Yes, Vishnu, they are not hitting the server.
Exactly. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Any other doubts like that? So this is really appreciated, okay? Because from this, like what Rohit asked the question, right? It shows that he's thinking little in depth. Okay, that's very good because just by hearing of throughput or just by when we started the overview itself, he's getting such questions. That's really good. Okay, so yeah. Anyone has any other doubts? Queries?
The other one question is related to the bandwidth. Generally, when we do some kind of a load testing, we don't do any setup for the bandwidth. We do it, I mean, default, it would enable to some bandwidth or how it is. Or else do we need to check with the clients for any specific bandwidth before we do some kind of load testing?
Yeah, so generally, see, before you do the test itself, we will plan it out, okay, like what type of users they have. And based on the analysis and all, we will come to a conclusion what bandwidth or what we need to, because see, again, that there is one stage called a test setup, right? Where you are setting up your environment and all. So in that case, all those will be taken care automatically when you set up your environment, because your network bandwidth and all will be automatically taken care based on the user requirements, right? When you set up your environment. So for that, you don't need to use a specific plugin and all separately. But let's say you want to simulate it, right? For example, let's say my user came up saying, okay, can you also test with a lower bandwidth like 4G or 5G or 3G, right? Now I have a 5G connection and I want to simulate a 4G, right? In that cases, there are some ways to do using the performance testing tools, right? Like for example, in JMeter, we have something called a bandwidth delimiter plugins and or limiter plugins. So that we use to do that stuff. We will see that, okay, when we go to that sections.
So we need to use plugins only, but in JMeter default, we don't have option, right, Vishnu?
Right. No. So it's basically JMeter plugins are also like JMeter only. The only reason why we have those separately is to make it lightweight, right? Because those are optional ones. Everyone doesn't need it, right? People who need it, they can use it. That's why we have separated it as a plugin. But if you see the plugins that we use in JMeter are very lightweight. I mean, like it goes seamlessly with JMeter, integrates. Okay, and it's all of them are also open source. Nothing is paid.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So now today, before I proceed further, okay, yesterday we were speaking about latency, right? So I want to show something related to the bandwidth. Okay. Now let's say I take some application like Amazon, and I just click on inspect element again. Now if I go to this network here, okay, or this performance, okay. Now if you see my page loaded, let's say around 0.96 seconds it took, okay, for this page to load. Okay, that's what this LCP means. What LCP means, I will explain later. What is largest contentful paint? What do we mean by that? But yeah, for now it took 0.96 seconds, let's say, okay, to load. Now what I will do some network throttling. Okay, so network throttling means See, same page, if someone loads at some other bandwidth, right, other than my Wi-Fi, what I'm using, right, some lesser speeds, like let's say 3G, okay, which is very slow, right? And also I will, okay, let's keep like this, okay, network 3G. Now what I will do is I will reload it again, okay? So how much time increased? What was it before?
It was good actually. Something
0.9.
So, right. Around 1 second, right? Now it has become 6 seconds. Only what changed? What was the only thing that I changed?
Bandwidth network.
Bandwidth, right? See how things are getting affected, right? Now let's say I go to 4G, okay, and I reload. Just remember these numbers, okay? 1 second, 6 second. Now see, we are getting a better number, right? Now let's say I come to 5G, no throttling at all, okay? So basically, it's similar to what I chose, fast 4G, right? In that range, it is our normal one. Okay, that means it's a 5G. It's taking, I think. Okay, fast 4G means it's a 5G. Okay, so now if I go and check mark this disable network cache, and I'll do this, and now this throttling of CPU. Okay, what I will do is I will just make it 4 times slower. Okay, now see what happens. Did my response time increase?
Yes.
Right? So see, network, yes, it got affected. Again, CPU also. If my user CPU is already loaded, right? If the user CPU is being utilized too much, that time even the user uses an application, a website, it will get slow. Right? Now the question to all of you is, these things which I'm doing here, is it in control of a performance tester?
Yes.
No.
The
Because
bandwidth
it's
is
a
not in
user.
our control.
Correct, yeah, because it's a user side, right? Now a user can be anywhere, can be using any CPU, whatever, right? It's not in our control. So when you do performance testing, these things are actually fixed. Fixed means like, okay, this is the scenario we will test, okay? And for that, we will certify. So what we will do is, okay, CPU now, let's say there are 100 users and all of them, they are on this type of CPU. We fix that, okay? And network, okay, like we have 100 users. Out of that, 80 users are on slow 4G. So we will fix that. That means our environment will get fixed for that speed, okay? And then we will run the test. And for that response time, we will certify. Now it goes beyond or lesser. When the user uses it, is not our headache. First, it might happen. But for that specific setting that we did, it should be certified. Getting my point, all of you? What I'm trying to say?
Vishnu, yes, I got the point which you're telling.
Yeah.
But only thing is, who will do this environment setup and everything?
Yeah, we will not do that. We generally the DevOps people or the team, right, who are there, they will set it up for you.
Okay.
Okay, you just need to set up the JMeter and such stuff. Okay, not any environment setup. Okay.
But this requirement generally we provided our business, right? What are the CPU or network we want
Actually,
to
it's
test?
not we. There is the discussion that will happen during the NFR phase itself. Okay, when this non-functional requirement is collected, right? And that time, business analyst will be there. Our customer will be there. Even you might be included in that if your business analyst is not that much aware about performance. Okay, then you will also be included. Otherwise, most of the time, they themselves will handle it. BAs themselves. Okay, they will, because they generally have some thumb rules and all. Okay, they will follow those and they will come up. Okay, so yeah, so basically this will happen during the NFR stage itself. Like what type of environment they need to provide us, all those, because ultimately that is also cost, right? The customer has to bear. If I need 2 CPUs, 3 CPUs, 4 CPUs to test, all those I have to mention already. Even not I meant like when the BA takes the approval for the project, right? In the NFR, that time. In the proposal stage, we can say.
Yeah,
Please go.
Vishnu, one query. So again, see, for example, for doing this load testing, we need LGs and the CPU and
Correct.
everything, environment setup, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
this should be discussed at NFR only. And let
Yes.
us
Correct.
assume that business people and no one
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know about this performance or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At that particular point of time, what we need to ask them based on that
Mm-hmm.
application testing?
So
What are
that
the
means that means you have hit a gold mine. Okay. So if your customer doesn't know anything about performance, give good estimates so that your company makes good profits. So
uh,
yeah, just kidding. But what I'm saying is, yeah, that happens, and most of the time it happens. In that case, you have to know the. That's why we have a session in our course, right? How to plan your test and all, how to create a test plan. So that time we will discuss that. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay. Because this
Yeah.
network speed and everything, they just,
Yeah.
let us
Right.
assume that they just tell us the
Correct.
throughput.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yes.
I just
Yes.
want this throughput, it doesn't know
Yeah.
anything, so
Mm-hmm.
that's what.
So yeah, basic analysis you have to do based on
Okay,
your experience, your analysis. You have to come up with the values. Okay, that we will discuss when we go to this plan.
okay, okay,
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Vishnu, when you explain this one, local metrics like LCP, CLS, and
Soon.
IMP.
We
Okay,
maybe in
okay,
next 2-3 sessions.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Yeah. So see now this what I did right now is called the UI testing. Okay, it's not a performance testing. Can someone say why?
Doing it only for one user, right?
Yes, exactly. Performance testing is for multiple users, multiple load, right? Now here it is just a single user I'm doing, myself alone, right? So I'm just testing like, yeah, obviously Amazon is a live application, production one. So there are multiple users using it already now in all over the world. But just assume it's if it's a test environment, right? And if I am the only person now doing it, right? There's no load actually. I'm not running any 2 user, 3 user, right? So it's a UI testing that I'm doing, how fast my UI is loading, or what are the bottlenecks in the UI. So this tool, this performance tool is very useful for that. Okay. Now let me show you one more thing here. Okay. Just click on this thing. I will go back to my no throttling, disable cache. I will enable. And if I click on this one, just I'll click on this. So this is a Chrome's inbuilt profiling tool, okay, for the UI testing. So this will profile your page or whatever you are trying to test, okay, whichever page you are trying to. It will profile and show you various bottlenecks that are there in this page. Like for example, if you see, it will also plot different graphs and all, and it will give you like how much time, the time division. For example, the scripts that got executed in this page, how much time it took. So when I say scripting, what script do you think is this?
JS.
Yes, exactly. Because JavaScript is a client-side processing language. Okay. So what do I mean by client-side? Basically, this scripting, this processes get executed in your Chrome or by Google Chrome or whatever browser you're using. It is not executed in your server, not like a PHP or not like Java or Python, right? Which get executed in the server. This is executed in your browser. Okay, this scripting, the JavaScript. Okay. Similarly, rendering as basically you can see the CSS files and all, right? The rendering means these things are coming. Okay, more sort of like, okay, this keyboard should come here, this book should come here, this text should come here. That's called rendering, okay, where things should go and get placed. That phase, right, where that is decided and what color and all those stuff. Okay, those will come in the rendering phase. System is basically like the latency and all those stuff will get added in the system time and the loading time and all in these two phases that will get added. And obviously the total will come at, which is the addition of all those, right? So that's the total time your page took to load. Okay. But one thing is there, if you go here, you can also get more insights into, and nowadays there is AI integration also, okay, in many places. Like for example, if I go to this, for example, this console here. Okay, I'm getting an error here, right? Some error. Now, if I just click on this here, this small bulb-like icon here, okay, understand this error. If I click on that, so see, it will ask, okay, so for example, if If I click on this console insights, I'll just enable it. Okay. And I go back. I'm just reloading it. Now this is basically console output. In console, you will see any JavaScript errors or anything. Okay, that's what you will see, some API error and all. So now if you click on this bulb here, actually it will give you some insights into what that error could be. Okay, so if you see the error name not resolved indicates that the browser is unable to resolve the domain name, something XXX, right? Something and all, right? So actually you can get AI level insights here. Okay, similarly, if you see this performance, whatever got loaded, right? Here also you can see some insight, like for example, what is layout shift culprit here, or what is the LCP by phase. So all those stuff, some more insights into why your page is loading slow. Okay, but these are all things related to UI. Okay, that we need to understand. This is not performance testing. This is to make your, like for example, now let's say if I go to network here, and I just click on this total size. Okay. Now, if you see, it is around 7.1 MB. Okay. Now, let's say I have a page with 2 MB. I have a page with 10 MB. Let's say every other condition is same. Okay. Nothing is different. But due to size, will my response time increase?
Yes.
Yes, it will increase. Right. So that's why reducing these resource sizes are also very important. So from some images, let's say, if they are very heavy, right? If we can try to reduce it without, let's say, compromising on the, let's say, the image quality, we can do that, right? So all those things will happen in the UI testing, right? The image sizes checking and what resources are loading slower, if some JavaScript is loading slower. But these are all not part of performance testing. So as performance tester is concerned, right, there's only one request out of all these requests, which is important. That is this one, which is the main important request that you can see if you filter by doc. Okay, by doc, if you filter, you will see that, and fetch also. These are also sometimes important. These are also some API calls and all sometimes the fetch. Okay, but doc is the most important one. And here you can see the important requests. For example, this one. This one is the important request where we are accessing the landing page. Similarly, if you see here, this is an important request which is accessing some image or something. Okay, and so these are all the important requests which get request. Then these are get request. This is a get request. We'll understand. Okay, what's a request in the upcoming sessions? What is get, post, and all those stuff. Okay, what's an API and all those stuff we will understand. Anyways, coming to here back. So what I'm trying to say is, what we are currently doing here is the UI testing with one user. Okay. But as a performance tester is concerned, that's why you never worry about these images, the JavaScript files, the CSS files, and all those stuff. We only worry about the request which is processed in the server. That is this one. Getting my point, all of you? Any doubts in this?
So Vishnu, CSS and JavaScript files, like you are asking to remove those, it's not required. But end user, when he is doing some kind of a login or something, so when to the complete page, that also includes CSS and JavaScripts, right? Like images. So
that's what I'm saying. So those things your UI tester will automatically find out if there is any issue, or because if that script is adding any response time or it's loading slower. But that's the work of the UI tester, right? Your server, if you optimize also, see, what I'm trying to ultimately say is, as a performance tester, the main objective ours is to optimize our server. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
right? So to optimize the server, these are the requests which are very important, not these. Okay, but yes, now if your JavaScript is very heavy, I mean, like the file size is very heavy and all, your load time might increase, but that's on the UI side. Are you getting? And that has to be optimized separately, not as a, I mean, like not as a server tuning, but more sort of like a client side tuning. Getting all of you? So when I say client and server, client is your browser or your mobile app or whatever, where you're using it. Server is where all of these things will go ultimately, where my files are correct or my application files are really sitting. Getting? What's the client and server?
Vishnu, sorry to interrupt. Again, one question. Now, let us assume that I am doing performance testing for this Amazon.com. Okay, I try to log in with one user through JMeter. Let us assume I was trying to run this APIs. Okay, the one which you had shown us in this, what is that?
Yeah.
The fetch or HR or doc something. I was trying to hit that APIs, that get APIs, and we will get the response, right? So in that response, all these images and all will be included, right? No?
Not required. That's what I'm saying. So see, now for example, if you see the response of this request, okay?
Oh, okay.
Now this request is your HTML source code, what you have.
Okay.
Right? Now, the source code, if you see here, for example, let me show you, and I will just inspect this specifically. If you see, it is just a link to that image. Able to see?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Right? So, my server is not doing any work for this. It's just pulling that image from that link. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So this image, if I worry also, nothing I can optimize. Only I can do is I can reduce the size of that image. Right?
Okay.
For that, they don't need a performance tester. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, I got your point, but my question is like after clicking on that JMeter run, I'll get the response, average response. Average response as 2 seconds or something like that. So, I mean, if our SLA is like 1 second, how could we tell them that based on, see, as we are not doing this UI testing,
Yeah.
so we don't know, right, where it is getting this.
We give an SLA for the request, not for the page, no?
Okay, got it.
Are you getting my point?
Yes,
Page, we don't give the SLA. We give the SLA for the request.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions, anyone? Okay. So ultimately, you have to divide your work into two testings, right? Performance testing and UI testing. Both are different objectives. Both have. Okay. Performance testing, when you do your NFRs, they will be request based, right? Your SLAs will be request based. UI testing, when you do, that time only you will look for these things and all, anything you can reduce the size, or you can load faster in your client or whatever. Right? Those will come there. Clear, all of you? Any doubts till now?
No, Vishnu, not from this side.
Okay, right. And for UI testing, which tool you will use? So, will you say JMeter? If someone asks you in interview?
No, we should use for automation or normal UI test.
Normal UI testing. Okay, let's say like this I'm doing, right? So
browsers, we use
exactly.
the browser.
Right. So dev tools, you can say. This is called dev tools. Okay. In dev tools, we have this network performance. So you can say in dev tools, I will use the performance, and there's something called a lighthouse also. Okay. Lighthouse also is useful. For example, let's say I just click on this and give you a stop and they give you analyze.
Is it a plugin?
It's there in all browsers. Google provides it freely. Yeah. All browsers means with Google, okay, Google Chrome. Every browser has their own different tools.
Engine.
Yeah. See, it's giving an insight. Okay, 75% users are using 2G, 3G still in the world. Think about it. Now India is very much ahead, if you see, with 5G. Can someone imagine? Like 75% users are using 2G or 3G in the world. Is this a new insight or not? From what you thought? So people who are using 5G, we are very lucky. Okay. Yeah. So now this is trying to analyze, okay, and give you a report. So see, now your performance score is 57. Basically, if your score is very high, it's that good. It's in orange. So green is good. Okay. So for 57 score for Amazon, this one is. Think about it. So if you're working in Amazon, you still have room to improve the performance. UI, okay? Not the performance testing of the server, but the UI. Okay. Now, why this happens? Why do you think this is happening for such a big company like Amazon? Why the score is so low? What could be the reasons?
Images and
yeah, the number of tiles and everything we use, right? And number of
that is true.
users.
But still, let's say they are big organization, they would have thought something what to optimize those things and all.
Because
but
of
still, why?
number of users are more.
That could also be reason. Okay. Anything else? See, now they would have tested, right? That time they would have got 80, 85 and all, maybe. Okay. But this 57 I am getting, it's not that everyone will get 57. The score might change based on the user's device, user's bandwidth, user's network, right? That could also be a reason, isn't it?
It is showing your result only, right?
Yes.
You, as
Correct?
a user.
Yeah. So that is fine for them. But when they tested, right, they would have got maybe 80, 85 and all with that whatever parameters they have set. Okay. So that's why they have certified it. Right. So yeah, what I'm ultimately saying is always for performance, there is always more room, okay, where you can still perform and optimize. Now, same thing, if I go to some application where the load is less, okay, let's say something like place or something. And if I just try to do that, same thing. See, it's better than Amazon, right? Are you able to see? So now if Amazon, we will show this, they will think. So yeah. So what I'm ultimately saying is this score changes based on the user, right? And for Amazon, 57 score is a good score. There's a reason behind it. Why I'm saying 57 is a good score?
More number of users.
Number of users are more.
Right? Yes, more number of users, and see the heavy, right? So many images, so many links, and it's so complicated, sophisticated application. This is a very simple application. See, only for some maybe 10 images, and that's all, and some small links and all. With that, you are getting 71 is a not big deal. But with this much complexity, you're getting even 57. That is above that red mark of 50. It's a good thing. Yeah. Now here you can see more diagnostic details. Okay, like what you can do to improve this score, right? For example, here you see it's taking 8.2 seconds. So you can see what is taking script or whatever. And if you scroll down, you can say like, so now this is giving you, okay, instead of this, use this so that you can save this much KB or this much time, 1.4 seconds you can save by doing this, right? So all those things, it will give you an insight. So Lighthouse is also a very good tool. Okay, it's a Lighthouse. Okay. Yeah, so these are some UI testing tools, and there's one more called a GT metrics. Sometimes in interview they might ask you. Okay, GT metrics. This is also a leading tool in UI. Okay, you can just give your URL here. For example, let's say I give Amazon.com, and if I click test now, yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can ask. Okay, till this loads.
Do we have any tool testing for mobile as well?
Yeah,
I mean
yes.
the APKs, not.
Okay. So, got it. Yeah. So basically, you want to test the mobile applications, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that we have to use some tools like Fiddler and all that I will explain later. how we do that. Yeah, that's a different way of doing it. Yeah. Yeah. So if you see now, again, there is a performance score. What is a performance score? Structure, how much time, time, and all those stuff. Okay. Now, if I log in, it will give me a better report. Let's say, okay, I'm not, I have an account, but not in this. But anyways, so it will give you a performance report and all. Again, a waterfall report. Let's create an account for this. I already have one. I will log into that. Give me a minute. Okay, anyways, for this, we have already generated the report, right? So let me log in here. It's a free account. You don't need to pay or anything. Just I'm verifying the email. Give me a minute. Okay, so now I have logged in. And we can see the report also.
We are not able to see your screen.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, Vishnu.
Yeah. So see, if you see here, now the report is visible. Now you can see what are the high, medium, high. So what is contributing to that increase in response time, that UI? What are those high values and medium? They have grouped it. Okay. For example, this one is some JavaScripts which they can try to reduce. Okay, because it is taking more time. So they can try to reduce the parsing or whatever, something they can do to profile the JavaScript. Then similarly, if you scroll down, you can see more. Like for example, in the medium high category, these are the things. Okay. To improve the performance, what all you can do? They are showing those. And now if I go to this performance here, you can see first contentful paint. I will explain what these things are. Okay. Total blocking time, time to interactive, what is first contentful paint, speed index, and all those stuff. Okay, I'll explain what it is. Okay. Now coming to waterfall. This is useful. Okay. Basically, this will show me like if anything is there that I can improve. For example, if I go to HTML, now see, this is taking 724 milliseconds, right? If I can somehow, so this is the main request. Okay. If I can reduce the 724 milliseconds, then yeah, I can save some time, right? See, even JavaScript, if you see, it is taking around, again, if you see total 28.1 seconds it took. Okay. Let's see which, where that extra time happened. Okay. In images, if you see, okay, going down. Yeah. See, so many images, right? So that is actually creating the load time. That's why I said, by just seeing it, we cannot say, right, that, okay, Amazon is slow. But so many images are there. Able to see? So many. It's getting loaded. So that's why you are getting, I mean, like that overload is there. And there is a limit that they can reduce it also, right? Because they cannot say, okay, we don't need these images. They need it, right? And they cannot make it that small also that it will become blur or quality is reduced. So yeah, anyways, so that all reasons you can see in the waterfall, okay, which is taking more time and all those stuff. Yeah, so these are some things which you can, with the GT metrics you will get. Okay. Yeah, so again, this is a UI testing tool. So if someone asks you in interview, which all UI testing tools you have seen or worked, you can say GT metrics. You can try it out little after the sessions also. Lighthouse and performance. Clear? Any doubts anyone till now? Okay. Now, you see, now here we are for not learning UI testing. Okay, UI testing is just a small chunk, maybe 5% also, we can say. Okay, only 5% of your total efforts as a performance tester that you will do, if at all you will do it. Okay, but your main 95% work, as I said, is not UI testing. It is performance testing, right? So there, our JMeter and all those stuff will come into picture, and there we are more worried about our server, not the client. And can someone say why I am not worried about the client?
Because it depends on the UI.
So
The
ultimately,
UI.
the philosophical line, right? The philosophy, what it says, we can worry about only those things which we can control. Correct? Right? Hello? Are you getting my line?
Yes.
Right? Something which we cannot control, we cannot worry about, right? The client is their device. Someone will be in iPhone, someone will be in Samsung, someone will be in MI, someone will be on laptop, someone will also. So clients might change. Similarly, someone might be on Geo Air Fiber, someone might be on Geo Fiber, someone might be on mobile data, again network, right? So client overall things will change. We cannot control that much. Only through data we can find out, okay, on an average what my people are using, my customers, 70%, 75% customers, what they are using. And I can optimize for that parameters. Only that I can do. But I cannot make it 100% and I can test in all the devices. No, that I cannot, right? It's not possible, that coverage. That's why we never worry about client much as a performance tester. But we know for sure one thing, that if our server is fast, automatically all the clients, whoever are using, things will become faster. Isn't it? Hello, all of you? Isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Because server is connected to all those clients, right? So if I can optimize my server, then automatically all my clients will also become faster. That is one thing. Second is, now for this, let's say this Chrome is there. Okay. Now this Chrome is using the CPU of whom? Like whose CPU it is using? Mine or Amazon's? This Google Chrome is using CPU of my CPU, right? Now this Amazon application is using whose CPU? I mean, like on the server. That's Amazon's, right? So Amazon will be paying for that CPU, isn't it? For the server. So as a performance tester, I should be worried about saving money for my customer or customer's customer. Whom? Hello, all of you. So whose CPU I should save?
Clients.
Amazon CPU. Is it clients? Because that is anyways Amazon's headache, right? I mean, like they are not my customer.
Server
Right?
says it.
Yes. So I have to save money of the server, right? If now the server is using 10 CPUs, I have to bring it down to 2 so that they don't need to spend on that other 8 CPUs because their code is very heavy or slow. Getting my points, everyone? Where I'm coming to? So why server is important in performance testing, not the client?
Yes.
Yes, Isha.
Okay. So yes, now we will start our real story because this is where I wanted to reach. Okay, I wanted all of you to understand that as a performance tester, we are more worried about the server, not the client. This is very, very important for us to understand. Okay, this line is like a golden line for performance testers. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts, anyone till now before I proceed to next? Okay, right. Now coming to the main thing. Okay. So in performance testing, yesterday we saw, okay, we are worried about the load and stability of a system. Now, when we do performance testing, the tool that we have for doing the testing, like LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoad, or whatever tool you have, their work is to simulate the load. To make it more precise, simulate the load with a realistic behavior. Now, can someone say why I said realistic behavior? Why this is wrong?
In real times, for example, if we use.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Let's start. Let's come back. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead. Manoj, you had some doubt? You are raising your hand. I saw it now. Okay, no issues. Yeah, please go ahead. You're saying something? Anyone? So why the realistic behavior is important?
When a user log into Amazon, like he won't go step by step. He will wait for some time. He will think, and again he will go to the next process.
Exactly. So this is something which is equivalent to a realistic behavior, right? We are not a bot, right? Which will just do everything. So we have to think how a real user will perform some actions. Though we are simulating, it doesn't mean we have to work or the JMeter or the LoadRunner, that's a script which we are running should execute as if it's a bot. No, it has to be realistic, not only about thinking, but also the data, right? For example, let's say login, I am doing 100 logins per second. Okay, 100 logins per second I am doing. Now this 100 logins per second, I can also do with 10 users. Okay, in JMeter, I am giving just 10 users and simulating 100 logins per second. But is it realistic?
No.
No. See, how can 10 users do 100 logins in a second? Right? So it doesn't feel realistic. At least it should be 100. I should do 100 users. Okay, then okay. At least it is little realistic, right? So that is the meaning of realistic. So what this JMeter, LoadRunner and all they help us to do is to simulate the load with a realistic behavior, because simulating only the load is actually easy. You know, I can just write a small script. I don't need JMeter or LoadRunner to do that. I can just write a small Python script or a JavaScript to do that, to generate that load. But realistic behavior, how will I bring that? That is where these tools help you. That no one will say. They will just say simulate the load. But actually simulating the load, you can even write a Python script to do that, to put the stress on the system. But how will you do it? How will you make that script realistic, right? How, as if a real users are using that application. How will you make that? That you achieve using JMeter, LoadRunner, and those tools. Getting my point, all of you?
Yes, Vishnu.
Right? So all those elements that you see in JMeter, right? If I go here, if I go back to my JMeter, I'll explain you, okay, how I install JMeter from scratch. I will take everything. We are now in the fundamentals. Okay, that's why I'm explaining all this. When I go to the JMeter section, I'll clearly explain how I install. You will also be doing it. Okay, not only me. So just go to JMeter. I will show how I installed and all those. Okay, how did I set it up? All those things I will be showing. Okay. So now in JMeter, those elements that you see, right? For example, if I go to here, the threads, the config elements, the listeners, the timer, pre-processors, the post-processors, the assertions, test fragments, even the non-test elements, all of these things, even the thread groups or the test plan, right? All these together constitute to that thing. Like, how do I make it realistic? Not only putting the load for 10 user, 30 user, 40 user, that I can just write a script and also I can create, okay? Creating the threads if I am good at Python and all. But how will I easily do it? And how will I make it more realistic? So these elements will help me to do those things, to make it more realistic and to properly run those scripts for that multiple number of users. Because the way my application will respond to one user and two user will be really different, or one and multiple users. That also JMeter has to handle properly, or I will have to script that properly. That's where the correlation, parameterization, all those stuff will come, right? So, and similarly, how will I make sure that the test is running properly? That's where assertions come into picture. How will I import data into JMeter, which I can use? That's where config elements come into picture. How will I control my execution? That is where controllers come into picture. Okay, that's where we will see what are controllers. So if you see, there are logic controllers. We see what is a if controller and all those. Okay, then how do I add some timing elements into this? That's where timers come into picture. That's where think time, pacing, and all those stuff will come. So all those things we will go in depth, okay, when we in the upcoming session. Okay, so ultimately the tool, whatever you use, they help you to simulate the load with the realistic behavior, what you want to simulate. Okay. Yeah.
Vishnu, one question, just on this one. So like 100 users, we are doing 100 logins. So all these data, is there any reporting also we can able to do here in JMeter, or separate plugin we need to do for that?
No. Report generation, there is a JMeter inbuilt step which we can use. It will generate a HTML report for you and give you. Okay. And also there are some other ways also. But ultimately, you should not rely only on that report. That's where our Grafana, Prometheus, and all those things come, right? Yeah.
Okay.
You have to pull some data from there also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
That we will learn how to create a report step by step. I will share a detailed template, okay, in which you can share the reports with the stakeholders. Okay.
Yeah, Vishnu, I have a question.
Yeah.
So is JMeter just UI based, or can we script something on this JMeter?
Yes. There is a non-GUI mode in JMeter also. Even if you see, just to show you, okay. Now let's say if I have a script in JMeter. So this is one basic script I have, okay, in JMeter with a scenario, okay, which I have. Now if I try to open that scenario, let me show you one thing, okay. This is a JMeter file I have. This I will open in my notepad, okay. See, are you able to see? It's a code. Able to see that?
Yeah.
This is a JMeter script file, okay, but it's a code actually. So I can actually edit this code from here. Things will change in JMeter actually. So yes, you can perform scripting also in the background, not only using GUI. Because everything in JMeter is open source, no? You have full access to all the files. You can even customize your JMeter as you want. For example, see, all these files are open source. You can edit. Ultimately, JMeter is built on Java. If you know Java, you can actually make more things out of it. Like even you can change the look of the GUI also if you want. But that's all advanced things. Okay, not required always. But yeah, just saying you can, which you cannot do in LoadRunner. Because LoadRunner source code is not with you, but JMeter it is. Okay. Yeah.
So can we include this JMeter scripts as part of CI/CD and run from Jenkins?
Yes, we are doing that. No, we will be doing in our course. We will be seeing one session on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Vishnu, the response time. Yeah, the response time for the single user in the JMeter and UI will be the same?
Of the request. Okay, you have to say,
Yes.
see like that. Yeah. So for example, if in my JMeter, I am hitting this request, right? For example, this one. Okay. So this thing will match. This
Okay.
831 that you're seeing, right? That will match with what you're seeing in the JMeter in the report.
Okay.
But only thing is small variation might be there. That is due to latency. Okay. Little bit, somewhere around 20, some 5% here and there. Okay.
Okay.
But that is due to latency. And that's where this AppDynamics and Grafana come into picture. In AppDynamics, that latency will be almost zero. Because that AppDynamics is actually running on your server. But JMeter is not running on your server. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So when you see the value in AppDynamics, the response time, actually the latency will be almost negligible, zero. Because that AppDynamics is sitting on your server. But JMeter is sitting on here, right? Like from here, I'm hitting the server. So there's a small latency that I will have.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also a really good question. Okay, I like the question because it shows your. I mean, like you're trying to think about how the response times are working. That's good. Even John's question was also really good. All of you are starting to think. That's a good. I mean, like it's a motivation for me also that okay, whatever I'm trying to give you, it's reaching you. Okay, so that thank you for that.
So, Vishnu, one question. So,
Yeah,
when we start with a new application, so basically we will start with the SUT, that is whatever the UI we have done. And then we will have the baseline test, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, what would be the difference between the baseline and with SUT?
Okay, so see, baselines are not always there. Okay, sometimes a new application you will test also. It's not that always you will have baseline, but yes. So baseline you will do. Then what will happen is your new code will get deployed into that environment. Then you do performance test. So basically, both are same, but with new code. Performance test you will do, baseline test. Both are performance test only, but baseline is done for comparing, right? Before and after.
Okay.
Okay, getting?
Yeah.
Now this baseline actually can be done for, I mean, like anything, so just for comparing, because even if you want to compare before and after in any situation, right? You do baseline. Especially you do with this DBs and all. If you want to see the DB performance, right? They generally take the baseline first and then the performance they will do again, so that they can compare the queries response.
Yeah. So
right?
basically the post and pre.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And suppose if the application is at the initial level and we have to set the SLAs.
Yeah.
So how can we come to a agreement that this would be the perfect or the ideal scenario or ideal SLA for this dashboard or this landing page to get loaded?
Yeah. So that I will explain you when we go to the test plan section. A little early now. Yeah. Okay. We will discuss the test plan, no? How you create a test plan. That time I will explain. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Any other doubts, anyone? Hanisha, Harika, Jayalakshmi, Kiran.
No, from my side.
Okay. Lakshmi, Madan, Manoj, Manjana, Monica. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So just quickly, I wanted to actually start the different types of testing today, but yeah, we took a little more time on the UI testing. That's good. Anyways, it's all about learning, right? So, and that also good that I could get a lot of good questions today from you. So that shows that your involvement is increasing. That's really good. And I'm able to, I mean, like, maybe my things are reaching you properly. Okay, that's a signal. And please ask questions. Okay, and let's make it more interactive. Otherwise, people will. I mean, like, not only you, even I will feel sleepy. Okay, because if I just keep speaking, so please ask questions. And because once you ask question, it is like putting little petrol into fire. Okay, I will become more active, right? And I will be able to give you more.
Vishnu, there was question yesterday You have asked on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, that we will take. Yeah. Okay. So see, when we have latency, so to reduce latency, there are some ways we adopt. Okay. One is using something called CDNs. Okay, and something called caching. The caching is generally applied in most of the applications. 90-95% applications have caching. Now, what is caching and what is CDN? Actually, I wanted to explain today, but maybe in a high level way, I will start off with. Just I'll take 5 minutes for that. Okay, so what is caching? Okay, now see this JavaScript files, the CSS file and the images that you saw, which I said is not processed on the server. It's processed on the, where is it processed?
Client.
Client. Okay. Now, what the thing is, now see, now these files, they are actually processed on the client side. But one more thing is there. These files are actually heavy on the MB, the size of these files. Okay. For example, if I go to Amazon again, and if I compare the size, okay, this is my request size. How much is request size? How much?
143 KB.
Yeah, it's just 143 KB, right? Now, if you see, other than the request, now if I just click doc, only these three are there, maybe around 145 KB. Okay. Other than that doc, all other things are actually embedded resources. Maybe. Okay, I'm not saying all. So these are the things which are requests actually. So let's say if I can add also, maybe it all will come down to 150 KB or even 200 KB. But what is the total size? You see? 5.2 MB, right? So this 5.2 MB, the rest of the things, they are all these CSS, JavaScripts and all. For example, see CSS around 112 KB, JavaScript, if you see, it is 353 KB, image, if you see, 4.5 MB, right? But actually, these all things are getting processed on the client side or not on the server side. So what people thought, an idea is, let's say these files, do you think these files will keep changing every minute on my server? No.
No.
Once I write the code, I upload it. It will be there till the next change, maybe one week or 1 month at least, right? 1 week. So if that is not changing, what they will do? They thought, okay, let's store these files in the client. So what they will do is, let's say my Chrome is there, right? My Chrome, for the first time, it will load everything. All those files, it will load. For after first time, that after it is loaded, it will get stored in the local machine also. In my machine, these files. Okay. So second time, first time this will happen. Second time, Chrome will pick those files from my local machine, not from the server. Second, third, fourth, whatever. Till there is a server request coming saying clear the cache. So that will come only when there is a change on the server side. Okay. That will be a long period. So 5 days or 4 days that we can set. Okay. So till that 4 days, all the requests that will come will be taken from the local machine. Now, which do you think is fast? Taking the data from local machine or from the server?
From local
From local, right? Because you don't, it's a local machine, you don't need the network for that, and it's fast, right? This is called actually caching.
But Vishnu, as you said, that timing can be defined, that for 1 day, 2 days, or 1 hour or 4 hours.
Yes.
But that can be defined at server end, not in the client end, right?
Correct. At the server end, yes.
Okay. But when we do the actual testing, as you mentioned about that, we do the real world scenario with the JMeter.
Yes.
At that time, usually the thumb rule is that we don't check box that caching should not be there.
Yes. That is where my next question will come, okay? And I will explain this further also in the tomorrow session, including CDN. What is a CDN?
CDN, what is the full form of CDN?
Content Delivery Network, okay? So CDN, and in caching also, there is client-side caching, server-side caching. All these things I will
Yes.
explain tomorrow with one important point. Okay. I know a person who lost his performance testing job due to this caching. Why he lost the job and what was that important thing that he missed due to this caching when something, right? If I go further, you'll get the answer.
He was a
Tomorrow that I will
performance
explain.
test engineer.
Yeah. So he was a performance testing engineer, but by simply because he didn't understand what is caching, the importance of caching in performance testing, he lost his job because he did a big blunder, which cost like a lot of millions of dollars loss to the customer. Okay, that I will explain. Anyways, that is tomorrow's starting point. We will see, okay, what it is, why he lost, and what's the importance of caching, what is CDN, what is client side, server side, and we will see what are types of performance tests that we do. Tomorrow we will do that surely, and what are the objectives of different types, like what is stress, load, then volume, spike, endurance. These are the most important 5 ones. Okay.
So one more question, just I won't take much time, Vishnu.
Yeah.
So will that be, as you mentioned in the first demo class, there will be a 40 around 1 or 2,
Correct.
might be extra, depends on the
Yeah.
audience curiosity and
Yeah.
interest. So will that be included last 3 classes in those 40?
Not last 3, but yesterday's session onwards. The demo first class will not be included. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Vishnu. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Good night.
Yes,
Vishnu?
sure. Yeah.
So,
please go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I mean, can you explain a throughput? In 5 minutes. Like I understood, but still a bit. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, like, let's say I have the server. Okay. Server is where all my code files and everything is running. Okay. Now, this is my browser using which I am trying to access I'm giving a request. It will give me a response. This is how generally you get any application or website on your browser. Okay, it sends a request, you will get the response, and that will get printed based on whatever processing and all you do on the server. Now, this request, let's say there are n number of browsers. Let's say 10. So everyone is sending the request. Okay, everyone is getting the response also. Okay, now this server, let's say at 5 p.m. got 10 requests. Okay, at 1 p.m. that is 5 p.m. 1 minute, it got 10 requests. Okay, at 5:02 p.m. it is, let's say, it got 10 requests again. So every minute it is getting 10 requests, isn't it? And also assume that these 10 requests are already gone, okay, out of the system in that 1 minute. Just assume like that. They are not staying, okay. So every minute there is 10 requests in the server. So the throughput is 10 requests per minute.
Okay.
Are you getting it? So every minute there is 10 requests in the system, which is coming in. Okay. Now, if it becomes 1 request, so every minute 1 request the server is able to process.
But Vishnu, these requests are complete, like the point A, client A machine to the server B, and the response back to the client. That entire journey is called request per minute, right?
Yes, it's correct.
Because yesterday you also explained about the difference
right.
between throughput and load.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Load is
so it's
something
a
else.
total journey. Yeah, total journey. Because ultimately, see, in what you ultimately see is not only because as I said in the starting of the session, right? Only passed ones we will take as a throughput, not the failed ones. So how do you get that something is passed? Because if you send a request, you should get the response also properly. So that only I will count. 1, 2, how much I'm getting the response back, right? So ultimately it's a whole journey, yes.
For error also it is reaching to server, right? And it is validating, right?
But for sending the error, your server is not doing any work. Right? Because to throw a 500 error and giving you a response, proper response, which do you think your server will spend more efforts? Obviously this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mean to say the only response code 200 is count for throughput, right?
Not 200 only, 200, sometimes 204 also is okay. We consider. Okay. And there is something called 304, which is a redirect.
304,
right?
redirect.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah. Not only, but only the error. We'll see that. Okay. There are various HTTP status codes. I have a small session on that also, okay, where we will see all those.
And how it is a load will be calculated from client to the server. That is a load per minute. That will be counted.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But for error cases also, validation it is taking time, right? The server side. Whatever the request we are
that is why when you run a performance test, your errors should be less than 1%. Because otherwise that test is a fail. Are you getting? So if your error percentage is more than 1%, we say that the performance test itself is a fail. You don't continue because your system is first of all maybe not even functionally stable, or maybe performance. Don't know, because the failure rate is so high. Automatically your response time will also shoot because your server is throwing so many errors. No.
So how we calculate 1%? Is it the total number of requests or requests per minute? How we are going to calculate?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let's say I am sending 100 requests. Out of that 10 failed. Okay, then it is 10%.
Okay, so the total number of requests.
Correct.
1%. Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. It was nice to revisit yesterday's topic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Right.
Vishnu.
Yeah, Parimala, sure. Anything else, anyone? You can raise your hands if you have any questions. And others, if you have no questions, you can drop off. We can meet tomorrow. Thank you all for joining. It was a very good interactive session. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Vishnu. Have a good day. Good night.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Vishnu.
So anyone has any questions, or we can drop off?
So Vishnu, I have a question on the tools, on the performance tools.
Okay.
So in the market currently we have JMeter, NeoLoad, and I think LoadRunner. If you consider the current trend in the market, so which tool has edge over all these three tools, among these three tools?
So market share, if you see, right, 60 to 70% market share is JMeter. Okay. 20% you can keep it for 20-25% for JMeter. 5% you can keep for NeoLoad and all those other tools which are in the market. Now, why this is happening is JMeter is not only used by performance testers, it's also used by the developers for doing unit testing. Okay, so that's also a reason why majority of people are using JMeter. And it's an open source and all those pros of it. Okay? But LoadRunner comes into picture when the organization is very big, okay? Like as if they have some 20 performance testers or 18 performance or 15 plus performance testers, right? So that means they are running multiple performance tests in a week, right? Like maybe 20 to 30 performance tests in a week they are doing. So managing the performance tests as a collective way becomes very difficult with JMeter, right? So that's where the LoadRunner comes into picture. Their test management is very good, like the performance center and all. They have something, right? So they have performance center. So using that, managing the test is very easy for them when the team is very big. But otherwise, actually creating the test, running the test and all is very much easy in JMeter compared to LoadRunner. People have used both, they know that. Because there is no, because in LoadRunner also you have to know this elements concept and all. You have to write the C code for that, right? In JMeter you have elements, just drag and drop and all. It's very easy. Okay. Even like correlation is very easy in JMeter compared to LoadRunner. So those things, yes, which we will see when we progress. So that's the thing, John. I hope I was able to answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
For JMeter, Vishnu, they are using BlazeMeter, right? So with BlazeMeter in our project, we are able to manage tests and what we do in Performance Center.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. But again, BlazeMeter also somewhere the payment comes into picture.
Yeah.
Okay, the cloud and all. Yeah, it's not free fully.
But not as expensive.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Not as expensive as LoadRunner. Yes.
LoadRunner.
Yeah. And also this JMeter is used in CI/CD widely because it's an open source. LoadRunner is not that used widely. In Jenkins, JMeter seamlessly integrates. That's why people use JMeter in CI/CD pipelines and all. Okay, right. So anything else, anyone? Because both are same company, okay, Jenkins and JMeter, they were created by same Apache, right? So yeah, Lavanya, go ahead.
Vishnu, with how many users we can perform the baseline test?
See, that we will understand when we go to further sessions. So number of users is not dependent, like there is no standard number, right? It is based on the application that you are testing. That's why I said the throughput is important, right? So what throughput you want to achieve? So that you need to achieve using that X number of users, whatever.
Okay, Vishnu. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that we will see. Okay, counting till 1, 2, 3, then we will stop. Okay, right. Yeah. Thank you all. Have a good day, good night, and meet you all tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Good night, Vishnu.
Thanks, Vishnu.